Hi, this is Miss Deacon. I am going to explain our final project for you. I'm going to explain it and I'm going to emphasize how important it is for those of you who are not yet sure if you'll pass the class or you want to do better in the class. The math works out that the 50 points of the project means if you finish the project and you finish at least a full week of STEMs, you'll get a 60 in the class. So that's good if you're worried about that. If you're getting a C or you want an A, a B, and you want an A, the project can get you there. So do what you need to take it seriously in these last 2 weeks of the year and feel good about your progress on it. And come to class to get help. We are always in the Zoom helping any student who needs it, or just email me and set up a specific time. All right, so that's the importance of the project. I assigned this, I'm going to talk through the description on May 10th, that's Monday. It's due on May 26th. You can turn it in whenever it's done. This is the last thing we do for the class. There will be no STEMs for the last 3 weeks of class. It will only be this final. What do you do with the final? You have 3 options, but they're all around film. Film has been our second 9 weeks, the unit that we've explored. And what we want you to do is either analyze a film or create your own in the form of a YouTube tutorial. I'm not going to say much about option 3, the YouTube tutorial. You can see that it's there. It's available. Last semester, not that many students took advantage of it, but it's there for you. If you choose to do that, you need to record a 5-minute tutorial doing something. But if you don't like the idea of making your own movie, that's why we have options 1 and 2. So first, read through those options and select which one you want. If you choose options 1 or 2, then you're going to be picking a film or a TV show to analyze. I have been modeling this using the film True Grit. We watched it in class, we're watching it still. I'll explain what you do today here in this video in that film. But here, I can't emphasize this enough. Pick any film. It does not have to be True Grit. It's just a film that you like. A film or a TV show that you think is really interesting and worth your analysis. So the first option, option 1, you would click on this rubric. Basically, you do a recorded analysis or a commentary cut of the film. And you record yourself just like I am recording myself right now, only you're talking over the top of the film. You do not have to show your face. You can just do your sound, your voice if you want. There's no written piece required if you choose this option. In this case, you would record yourself explaining your analysis of about 15 minutes of the movie or TV show. So you'd pick a 15-minute piece. 15 minutes is the most you can record on this Screencast-O-Matic software. So that's all you can do. So then you decide on the film elements that you want to notice. These are the ones we've talked about in the second 9 weeks. Lighting and color, the sound and music, camera angles, symbols, illusion, the narrative itself, or the last thing we studied was the mise-en-scène, the setting, the props, and the makeup and costume. To look through those elements and you just select the ones that you think, oh wow, I can see myself analyzing the film for that aspect. In the recorded version, it can be very informal. You can talk about all of these things if you like. Then you pull up your film on your computer and you turn off the sound of the film. You mute the film. And that is because we want to hear your voice. So as the film plays, whatever part of it you're going to play for us, you record yourself explaining what's happening on the screen. That's option 1. Option 2 is a written piece. Similarly, you watch a film of your choice, and then you write a 3-page paper where you analyze some of these devices. If you're doing a paper, when you get into this list of devices, I would just pick 3 or 4. I wouldn't pick a ton. I would think, maybe I'll analyze the lighting of my film, the camera angles of my film, and I'll look at the way it uses costumes. And then you would write a paper where you explore each of those things in a 5-paragraph paper. It'll end up being 2 to 3 pages because once you copy all the text and make it size 12 in Times New Roman or Calibri, it's going to be like 2 or 3 pages. And then you write a conclusion and an introduction around those paragraphs. So I'll show you what that looks like a little bit in its opening stages. This is where you'll put your paper in your big Google Doc, which you've been doing all semester and year. In the very end, I have the beginnings of my outline. So if I decided, I don't want to do option 1, I'm going to do option 2, where I record, I write my analysis. This would be the beginnings of what I'm starting to figure out with that. I'm doing an intro of True Grit. I'm explaining that in this paper, I will be analyzing the different aspects of the film that reveal Maddie's determination because her character drives the whole plot forward. My first analysis will be her river crossing, and then I'll consider how she was treated after the snake bite and encounter with Tom Chaney. Lastly, I will consider how makeup and costuming reveals the true nature of her grit. So if I look at my intro, the very first thing I said I'd talk about is the river crossing. So this whole paragraph here is about the camera angles of the river crossing. Now, I don't talk about what happened. I'm not just telling you the plot. You don't need to do that in analysis. Instead, I go into the techniques. So I write, in the scene where Maddie reaches the river crossing and Rooster and LaBeef try to leave her behind, she has an important decision to make. Will she risk everything and throw herself in the river, or will she return to the quiet society she left behind? Camera angles show us her determination and her will to keep moving forward. When she first sees the men on the other side of the river, the camera zooms in slightly as she fixes her gaze on the marshals. The camera zoom shows us how determined she is. And then, when the ferryman yanks her horse back, the camera zooms out, though this time she is in despair. She does not want to leave. She frees herself from the ferryman and charges into the river, and at this point, the camera angles switch to Rooster, who will become her ally. So that is the beginning of some good analysis. It's not done, but it's exactly the kind of writing that I want you to do. I'm going to switch it so you can see how much this actually is once I make it size New Roman, or size 12 times New Roman, and double space. So it's already getting to be about 3/4 of a page. So that is option 2, and that is available to you if you like the writing. For the recorded analysis, I am going to show you briefly how you would do that. I'm going to open up the same movie, True Grit. And on my screen, I have Screencast-O-Matic open, so it's recording everything I'm saying, obviously, because you're hearing it. And I'm pretending that I picked option 1, where I analyze without writing. So I'm going to talk about camera angles and lighting, and I'm going to talk about costuming as well. First, the sun is coming up over this town. The light is really soft and beautiful. Maddie is really carefully selecting the clothes she's going to wear, and she's selecting her father's clothes. She is going to go avenge her father. It only makes sense that she's going to wear the things that he left behind. She has to stuff the hat because it's too big. And this is Maddie. She's always trying to step into shoes that are just a little too big for her. She doesn't fully understand what she gets herself into, but that doesn't slow her down either. So she's headed to the river, and she thinks she's meeting Rooster and LaBeef there. But when she gets there, she's going to find out they're trying to leave her behind. And there we have Maddie in the center of the frame taking off. She's our main character. She is the person who we're supposed to keep our eyes on. Get to the river. So there's Rooster. And they look back and realize that Maddie is trying to race across the river to find them. What I'm interested in this scene is how the camera zooms in on Rooster. Maddie has been our main character. But here, at this point in the movie, she's kind of getting small. Here it is, and it's zooming in on Rooster instead. And there's Maddie. So what I think it's trying to do is show us that her determination is making her win him over. And they're establishing a real bond, Maddie and Rooster. I'm going to do something that you can do in your recorded analysis, which is press pause and stop on a still. There. So this is a still that is a frozen image of the movie that shows you the vastness of the territory they're in. This is a long shot, and I think it's like this because we are meant as viewers to understand that they are all headed into this wilderness to find Tom Chaney, the man who killed Maddie's father. And that, the wilderness, the openness of it, the danger of it, it's supposed to help us see that this is going to be a very difficult task. You look how small their horses are and how vast the territory is. And somehow, in the middle of all of this, they have to find a single man. It sounds like a very difficult task. And that will help us understand just how determined Maddie and Brewster are to find him. Okay, I'm going away from my pretend and back to our final. So that was me pretending that I chose this one, option number 1, the recorded analysis. You do just what I was doing, talk over the phone. So you pick, do you want to write a paper where you explain the movie, or do you want to just watch the movie and have yourself recording over the top of it? Both are very good. And then, of course, the third option, which I'm not modeling, but some students take us up on and let us know if you have questions. I hope this was helpful. I really want to help make sure that you guys all get what you need from the class and pass. So talk to me if you have questions.